Greetings, Lucky Legends. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Lucky, this is Lucky Lad TV. I'm your host of this video, and it's time for another Lucky Analytics team building. And this one is... it's a bit of a silly team, I guess you could say. It's actually a really good team, though. As you know, if I'm actually showcasing something on Lucky Analytics team building, it's a team that I have been successful at using, and I don't plan on really making any changes to it. This one is called the Pokeaim Special, because everything on this team is, has some sort of significance to Joey Pokeaim. And the reason I made this team is because I'm planning on recording a live with Joey using this team. I have not asked him yet, but I have not asked him specifically when, but I've asked him in general, and he said that's fine. But I want to break the team down for you guys. It is a very interesting team, we can say. As you can see, we have Whitney, the Miltank. We have Beartix, the proud captain of the Bronx Beartix Manaphy. We have Mega Houndoom, big reference to the Wi-Fi Wolfpack. We have Hita Fajita, the original Hita Fajita shirt, because Fabio was really like the second Hita Fajita shirt. The original one was Azumarill, because if you have a Hita Fajita team, you lose to Azumarill. We have the OU metagame, which is, of course, Landorus Therian, and then, of course, we have Drop a Draco, the Life Orb Latios. But to kind of go through all this, Heal Bell, Milk Drink, Thunder Wave, and Body Slam. Now you're probably thinking, why do you have Thunder Wave and Body Slam? Body Slam is really just for damage. I could run Return, but slowing things down on this team is really important. Because there are a lot of Pokemon that, well, not a lot of Pokemon, there are certain Pokemon that we have a lot of trouble with. And being able to slow them down by catching them on a switch-in with Body Slam could be really big. Whitney is very, very fat. It's very, very difficult to one-shot, especially with Thick Fat. The reason I have that is because we do have a really big ice weakness on this team otherwise. Simply because I don't want to switch stuff into an ice-type attack, because nothing on this team is really, bulky, except for Whitney and the Landorus, which I will get to in just a second. Those are really the only mons on this team that are, invested into bulk. Manaphy and Azumarill have, decent natural bulk. Manaphy's bulk obviously being much better. I'd say it's not significantly better, but it is better. But again, they're not invested in any way. Of course, this is a offensive Manaphy with Scald, Ice Beam, Energy Ball, and Tail Glow. Really, really, really good coverage. Hits just about everything. And Timid, Max Speed. We actually outspeed a lot of threats. Most people run either the Calm Mind set or the Mono Attack set. The reason I'm running this set is because with that investment, we can pretty much one-shot most things without really having to worry about having to set up a Tail Glow, because we already naturally have that really, really good base 100 special attack. We deal huge damage to stuff like Lead Garchomp, Lead, Landorus, stuff like that typically they would feel safer staying in against you, because you normally don't pack Ice Beam. Normally you pack Tail Glow, Rest, Rain Dance, Surf, or Scald, something like that. Something along those lines. I went with this offensive set. We have leftovers because having passive recovery on Manaphy is really important, because we have good natural bulk to us, so I don't want to have to run Resto, Chesto, because I need those 3 attacks. Following Beartix, we have Mega Houndoom. Interesting set. We have Fire Blast, Dark Pulse, Nasty Plot, and Will-O-Wisp. Now, yes, this means we do get walled by certain Pokemon by not running an extra coverage move. However, Will-O-Wisp is really important on this team for beating strong physical threats. For example, this team, despite what you see, does not like dealing with Azumarill. Even though we have like our own Azumarill and we have a defensive Landorus, we still don't like dealing with Azumarill. Which is why we have Will-O-Wisp, because Aqua Jet doesn't really one-shot us, assuming that we're at, full HP. And if we can burn that thing, then it basically becomes a non-issue. Will-O-Wisp also helps out with other threats, like we do outspeed Pokemon like Mega Metagross. That's a big one, which is, very, very scary in this tier. We outspeed, Jirachi. We outspeed Landorus Therian. That's another big one. Being able to get those burns off is really, really big. 40 HP, 8 in defense, and 208 in special attack. I don't remember exactly what those are for. It was the recommended spread that I found over on Smogon. I can't remember exactly what it's for, but I really liked the thought process behind it. At +2, we just deal huge damage to everything. And we, of course, are running max speed. Now, speaking of Azumarill, we are rocking a Choice Banded Azumarill with Play Rough, Aqua Jet, Waterfall, and Knockoff. The reason I'm running Knockoff rather than Superpower is because I really, really, really wanted Knockoff coverage on this team. It's important for dealing with stuff like Chansey, which, if you don't get rid of its Eviolite, can basically just wall everything indefinitely because it is so disgustingly fat. Knockoff gets rid of stuff like Leftovers so that I don't have to deal with passive recovery on my opponent's team. It's just a really good thing to have, especially on a team that it's somewhat balanced, but it really leans more towards offensive. And, of course, we're just running the standard Azumarill Choice Band spread. I modify it very, very slightly. Typically, you run 172 HP and 84 speed. I change it so that I can come in on Stealth Rocks in extra time, and it also gives me one more point in speed, so we will always outspeed the standard Azumarill, which is just, a little... It's not super important, but it's a little something that I like to do. I'm very, very OCD about Stealth Rock HP. I always want my Pokemon to have an odd amount of HP. Even if I end up having to lower their total amount of HP, it's really, 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 really important for me personally to be able to do that, because it can be the difference between coming in on 1 HP and coming in at 0 HP. So, speaking of Stealth Rocks, we do have our defensive Landorus. Again, this is the standard spread. I think I may have altered it very slightly. I'm not 100% sure about that. I think... Oh, I know what it was. I took 4 EVs out of HP and put them in speed for 2 reasons. 1, we will outspeed other defensive Landorus. And 2, Stealth Rock damage. Again, you need an odd number of HP in order to come in on Stealth Rocks that extra time. Earthquake, U-Turn, Stone Edge, Stealth Rock, super duper standard set for a defensive Landorus. I went with Leftovers rather than Rocky Helmet because, again, passive recovery is a really nice thing to have. And especially on, like, a defensive wall, if you have natural recovery, running Rocky Helmet makes more sense. But if you don't, then I think Leftovers makes more sense. Like, if you have Hippowdon, I would personally probably lean towards Rocky Helmet if I'm running fully physically defensive. If I'm running the mixed wall, then yes, I want Leftovers. But if I'm running a fully physically defensive Hippowdon, and I have Slack off, I'm going to put on the Rocky Helmet because I'm only switching that thing into physical attacks. Anyway, rounding out the team, we have Drop a Draco, our Latios, Life Orb, Draco Meteor, Psyshock, Defog, and Hidden Power Fire. I want Defog, I want Roost, I can't have both, so I have to decide. I have Defog right now. I could switch it to Roost. It really is just a personal preference. I want Defog to get rid of hazards so that I can more safely switch in my Mega Houndoom, which is probably the biggest killer on this team just because it's fast and it hits really, really hard. It's the fastest Pokemon on my team. Of course, we are running, the HP Fire set because if we did not, we would have trouble with Scizor. We have trouble with Scizor anyway because once Mega Houndoom goes down, we don't really have anything that can beat like a defensive Scizor. I think is probably the biggest threat. We can Thunder Wave it, but it's still a big problem. So we're running the Hidden Power Fire. Hidden Power Fire also helps a lot with Ferrothorn, which I didn't think I would have a huge problem with, but actually has, it can definitely pose issues. Again, this is all, if Mega Houndoom goes down. Mega Houndoom is most often the win condition for this team when it's battling. Right, like I said, I have Defog right now. You can switch it to Roost. It's completely up to you. I just have Defog on it for hazard removal. It's a complete toss-up. If you get rid of Defog, you don't have hazard removal. But if you have Roost, that means you very, very, very greatly increase the longevity of your Latios, which is often very important because Latios hits super duper hard. That's going to be it for this team, though. If you want it, DM me on Twitter. I'm about to leave and go do something. When I get back, I'll probably put it in a paste bin or something like that. But I want to thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. It's very much greatly appreciated. But with that, I'm going to get about. Best luck out there. I will see you all soon. Goodbye.